The afternoon sun cast long shadows across Willow Creek's community playground as I watched my daughter Emma navigate the modified swing set. At 12 years old, she moved with the careful deliberation that came with her cerebral palsy, her braces glinting in the golden light. Every achievement on that playground was hard-won, and I never took a single moment for granted. "Dad, watch this," Emma called out, her face breaking into that brilliant smile that made everything I'd endured overseas worth it. She was attempting to climb the ladder to the slide, something we'd been working toward for months with her physical therapist. "I see you, sweetheart. You're doing amazing," I said, positioning myself nearby in case she needed assistance. My name is Marcus Rivera, and after 15 years as a Navy SEAL, I'd learned that the most important mission in my life was being Emma's father. That's when I heard the voice that would change everything. Excuse me. Excuse me." The shrill tone cut through the peaceful afternoon like nails on a chalkboard. I turned to see a woman marching toward us, her face twisted in what could only be described as practiced outrage. She wore a crisp white tennis outfit despite being nowhere near the courts, and a lanyard around her neck proclaimed her as Deborah Ashford, HOA president. I'd seen Deborah at HOA meetings, but had managed to avoid direct interaction until now. She had a reputation for making life miserable for anyone who didn't meet her exacting standards. "Can I help you?" I asked calmly, years of high-pressure situations teaching me to keep my voice level. "Yes, you can help me by removing your daughter from this playground immediately," Deborah snapped, stopping a few feet away with her arms crossed. I felt my jaw tighten. "I'm sorry, what?" "This playground is for able-bodied children during peak hours, 3 to 6 p.m. It's in the HOA bylaws, Section 7, Paragraph 3. She pulled out her phone, presumably to show me the documentation she'd clearly memorized. Emma had frozen on the ladder, her smile evaporating. I could see her small hands gripping the rails tighter, her knuckles white. "There's absolutely no bylaw that discriminates against children with disabilities," I said, my voice dropping to a dangerous calm that my team members would have recognized. "And even if there were, it would be illegal under the ADA. Don't you dare lecture me about the law." Deborah's face flushed red. "I know my rights as HOA president. This playground equipment is expensive, and it's not designed for children who can't use it properly. She's a liability." "Her name is Emma," I said, taking a step forward, "and she has every right to be here." Emma had started to climb down, her movements jerky with anxiety. "Dad, it's okay. We can go." "No, baby. We're not going anywhere." I turned back to Deborah. "My daughter is using this playground. If you have an issue with that, you can take it up with the HOA board, your attorney, and the Department of Justice." Deborah's expression shifted from anger to something more calculated. "I see. You're going to be one of those difficult residents." She pulled out her phone and started typing. "I'm documenting this incident. You're being belligerent and threatening." "I'm being neither. I'm simply standing here while my daughter plays." "We'll see what the police have to say about that," she hissed, stepping back and pulling her phone to her ear. I sighed, recognizing the tactic. People like Deborah weaponize authority whenever they felt their power slipping. I dealt with actual terrorists who were more reasonable. Emma had made it to the ground and was walking toward me, her braces clicking softly. "Dad, I don't want trouble." "There's no trouble, sweetheart. Mrs. Ashford is just confused about the rules." I wrapped my arm around Emma's shoulders. Deborah was speaking rapidly into her phone, her voice taking on a panic quality. "Yes, there's a man at the playground being aggressive. He's very large and intimidating. I feel threatened. Yes, I'm the HOA president. Please hurry." I shook my head in disgust. I'd seen this playbook before. Make false reports, play victim. Hope the responding officers don't ask too many questions. "You're really calling the police because a disabled child is playing?" I asked. "I'm calling because you're trespassing and threatening me," she shot back. "Recording everything, right?" I held up my phone, which I'd started recording on the moment things escalated. "Just so we're clear on what actually happened here." Deborah's eyes narrowed at the sight of my phone. "You can't record me without my consent. Actually, in a public space, I can. And this playground counts as public. She opened her mouth to respond, then apparently thought better of it. Instead, she walked back to her car, a pristine white Mercedes, and reached inside. When she turned back around, my entire body went cold. She was holding a gun. "Now," Deborah said, her voice shaking but her grip steady, "you and your daughter are going to leave. Right now." Every instinct from my years of training kicked in simultaneously. I assessed the threat. She was approximately 15 feet away. Finger on the trigger, weapon pointed generally in our direction but wavering. Untrained grip, emotional state compromised, dangerous combination. "Emma," I said quietly, my voice absolutely calm. "I need you to walk slowly behind me and sit down on the bench. Can you do that?" "Dad." Her voice was terrified. "I know, baby. It's going to be okay. Just do what I said." Slow and calm. I felt Emma move behind me as I kept my eyes locked on Deborah. I raised my hand slowly, palms out, non-threatening posture. But I was already calculating distances, angles, approach vectors. "Ma'am," I said, my voice the same tone I'd use to talk down armed hostiles in 3 different countries. "I need you to lower that weapon. You're endangering everyone here, including yourself. I'm protecting my community." Deborah's voice cracked. "You don't belong here. People like you, people like her." "People like what?" I took one small step forward. "American citizens? People who paid for homes in this neighborhood? Children who want to play? Stay back." The gun jerked upward. Behind me, I heard Emma crying softly. That sound of my daughter in distress, made every dangerous mission I'd ever undertaken seem trivial. This woman had just made the biggest mistake of her life. "The police are on their way," I said calmly. "When they arrive, they're going to see you pointing a firearm at an unarmed veteran and his disabled daughter. I'm going to guess that's not going to go the way you think it is." "You're lying. You're not a veteran." 15 years Navy SEAL Team 3. 2 tours in Iraq, 3 in Afghanistan. I took another careful step, which means I've had extensive training in disarming hostile subjects. And right now, Mrs. Ashford, you are a hostile subject. Doubt flickered across her face. You're bluffing." "Am I?" Another step. I was now within striking distance if I needed to move. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to lower that weapon before someone gets hurt. Then we're going to wait for the police together, and you're going to explain why you pulled a gun on a child. She doesn't belong here." Deborah's voice was nearly hysterical now. "This is my neighborhood. I make the rules. You absolutely do not make rules that supersede federal law. And you definitely don't get to threaten children with firearms." The sound of sirens cut through the air. Deborah's head swiveled toward the street, her attention breaking for just a fraction of a second. That was all I needed. I moved with the speed and precision that had been drilled into me through years of the most intense training imaginable. In less than 2 seconds, I closed the distance, secured the weapon with a textbook disarm technique, and had Deborah face down on the ground with my knee on her back. The gun was unloaded and cleared before she could even process what had happened. "Don't move," I said quietly. "The police are here." 3 patrol cars screeched into the parking lot, officers emerging with weapons drawn. I immediately raised one hand, keeping the other on Deborah. "Marcus Rivera, United States Navy, retired." I called out clearly, "I have disarmed a subject who pulled a weapon on my daughter and me. The firearm is clear and safe, on the ground to my left. I am not a threat." The officers approached cautiously, and I complied with every instruction. Within minutes, they had the situation assessed. My phone recording provided all the evidence they needed, along with Emma's tearful confirmation of events and statements from 2 other parents who had witnessed the entire confrontation from the parking area. Deborah was placed in handcuffs, screaming about her rights and demanding they arrest me instead. The officers were having none of it. "Sir," one officer said to me after taking my statement, an older sergeant with kind eyes, "I'm sorry you and your daughter had to go through this. For what it's worth, my nephew has CP. He loves playgrounds too." I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. The adrenaline was starting to fade. leaving me shaky. Emma ran to me the moment the officer said she could, and I scooped her up despite her being almost too big for it. She buried her face in my shoulder and sobbed. "It's over, baby," I whispered into her hair. "You're safe. You're always safe with me." She was so mean, Dad. Why was she so mean? Some people are just broken inside, sweetheart. But she can't hurt you. She can't hurt anyone anymore. As they loaded Deborah into a patrol car, she looked at me through the window, her face a mask of impotent rage and dawning realization of what she'd done. The HOA held an emergency meeting 3 days later. Deborah Ashford was removed from her position, banned from all community areas, and ultimately charged with multiple felonies, including brandishing a firearm and child endangerment. The HOA also issued a formal apology to Emma and me, along with a complete revision of their bylaws to explicitly protect the rights of residents with disabilities. But the best part came 2 weeks later. Emma and I returned to the playground on a Saturday morning. She looked up at the slide, the same one she'd been trying to climb when everything happened. "Can we try again, Dad?" she asked quietly. "Absolutely," I said. This time, she made it all the way to the top, and when she slid down with a whoop of joy, I cheered louder than I ever had for any mission success in my entire military career. Because this was what I'd really been fighting for all along.